Hi gatherers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Han, and with fall fully here, oh, that's a mouthful, right? I've been thinking about the cards that really capture the energy of Samhain. Endings, reflection, transformation, and a little bit or a lot of shadow work. Today I want to share a few cards that feel particularly seasonal to me and hear which ones are speaking to you this year. So grab your favorite deck or just watch along. I'd love for this to be a little community moment together. And today I will be using the Beauty of Bones and showcasing the lovely cards from this deck as I talk through each one. And what I would like to do is present the card and then read a little bit from the guidebook to see if that matches kind of what I'm saying, if it matches up to that. So I also thought choosing this deck not only matched the vibes, but I actually haven't really had the chance to pull out this deck and work with it much. So I am pretty unfamiliar with the imagery and also with what's in the guidebook. So I think it'll be a bit of an explorative moment about this deck as well. So that's going to be really fun. The first card that feels like sound is the Death card. And I think this is the card of cards for the season. So, yes, a classic card for endings and transformation. To me, this card perfectly embodies the season because fall, and Samhain more specifically, is about shedding what no longer serves us and making space for something new. I love this card because it's a reminder to reflect on what I'm ready to release from the past year so that I may bring in new, right? What's something that's ending? What can I leave behind that will lead to another beginning? So let's take a peek here at the guidebook and we'll see what it has to say. All right. So we have a lovely picture here. And our quick hit, I guess, if you didn't want to read more, is upright, change, transformation, transition, and endings. And then for reversed, we have resistance or fear of change, repetitive negative behaviors, and fear. And I feel like for someone who might not know the tarot well or who struggles with this card or what have you, I feel like the reverse is initially where everyone's mindset goes. However, let's read more about it from the guidebook. Death. Death stands starkly and unapologetically depicted as a Wushin skull. I hope I'm saying that right. Interwoven into this figure are black flowers, a calla lily, and rose blooms of elegance, mystery, and intrigue. At first glance, this imagery may bring discomfort or fear, but when taking a closer look, death brings to light the beauty of transformation. Through its many facets, death represents the spirit's inextinguishable spark, its ability to dissolve and move forward, gliding towards different paths and shooting into the cosmos. The only guarantee in life is death, the unavoidable final step of this lifetime. Ooh, I think that perfectly encapsulates what I was talking about here with death and endings and transformation. And it's unavoidable even in our daily lives as we transform and we grow and we're different people each and every day, even in the most minuscule ways. I just think that this encapsulates Samhain to a T. Have you noticed any endings or shift in your own life this fall, this Samhain season? Just think about that, journal about it, share below if you feel so inclined, but no pressure to, just something to think about with the cards. The next card I want to talk through and how I feel like it's Samhain related is the Hanged Man. Now, this one might not seem as obvious, or you're like, why? Why? That's not a card that I would associate with Samhain, but hang on here. This card always reminds me of surrender and seeing things from a different perspective. You're kind of left in this liminal limbo, if you will. And as such, Samhain is a liminal time, a pause between what is ending and what is beginning. The Hanged Man really embodies that suspended reflective energy. So let's go ahead and take a look here in the guidebook. Upright, we have contemplation, pause, perspective, and letting go. Reverse, we have stagnation, stalling, indecision, standstill, and delays. The hanged man waits, suspended over a pile of rope and flowers. He is perfectly still, taking time to evaluate all angles of his life. The rope can be viewed as a noose, the conduit from a means to an end, waiting for the hanged man to fail. It can also be interpreted as the shed shackles of everything that held him back. The blooming flowers indicate all that is to come in the future. His presence is a reminder that when our perspectives shift, our entire outlook on life can change too. Use your time of contemplation wisely. Ooh, that's a really good one. Yeah, I think that the liminality, the finality of the hanged man, what he can represent symbolically, is very Samhain-like. So, what's something maybe that you've been pausing or reconsidering this season? Maybe that will help. The next cards I want to talk about as a set. So we have the 8 of Nails, in this case is Swords, and the 10 of Swords. So this to me is like a shadow and release set. This feels heavy, but it's super important. The 8 of Swords paired with the 10 of Swords both speak to facing fears, letting go of old patterns, and surrendering to what we can't control. In the 8, we see it as a choice that we have that maybe we don't even realize. We have a means of escape. We can get ourselves out of that predicament that has a hold over us. But in the 10, we're almost forced into it, right? We're forced into letting go and surrendering what we can't control. We have no one choice that's kind of been decided for us in a way. But together, I think they really capture that sense of shadow work and release that's so strong and imminent at this time. So let's take a look here at the 8 and the 10 in the book. Upright, we have from the 8, negative thought patterns, victim mentality, imprisonment, restrictions. Reverse is new perspectives, inner critic, releasing negative thought patterns, and freedom. 8 rusted nails surround a blindfolded figure, trapping them in a panic. Each nail represents self-destructive behaviors, negative thoughts, unhealthy amounts of anxiety, and unrealized potential. If they took the blindfold off, their situation wouldn't seem so dire, and they would notice the beautiful flowers blooming on either side. There are always options, but when racked by indecision and self-doubt, your judgment is clouded. Take a step back and shift your perception. How can you tackle one problem at a time and break it into manageable steps? Sometimes we hold ourselves back. It's up to you to break free. You have the resources you need. Right, again, that it's a choice. Sometimes it might not feel that way, but if we gain a different perspective, we take the time to reconsider, we might come to a resolution, right? And then moving on to the 10 of Swords here. Upright, utter defeat, failure, painful endings, betrayal, and loss. Reversed, unavoidable endings, resisting, recovery, and rock bottom. The 10 of Nails signals failure, an arduous, inescapable ending to something you once held dear. It may feel like the earth is crumbling beneath your feet and that you have lost everything. Even though 10 threatening nails are closing in on the laying figure, flowers blossom, growing out of the rib cage and spilling out of the sides, a sign of encouragement and perseverance. Sharp, painful endings for new beginnings and a sense of renewal. Life goes on, and you will find the will to keep going. And eventually, you will heal and even feel alive again. After you fall, get back up. Learn from the ordeal and find a piece of wisdom to carry with you as you move forward. It's time to greet the next phase. Again, you're almost forced into an ending, rock bottom, as a way to provide you that solution that maybe you ignored or didn't find in the 8 of Swords. So which of these cards is showing up for you this fall, if at all? Do any of them reflect challenges or transitions that you've been navigating right now? Something to ponder about. And the last set I have here today, you might be surprised, but I have the 4 of Coins and the 9 of Coins. Now, hear me out here. This might feel like the most disconnected from Samhain, the Pentacle suit or the Coin suit, especially the 9. But let's talk through this a little bit. So this pair feels like reflection and solitude. The Four of Pentacles shows holding on, being cautious, protecting what we have. The Nine, on the other hand, celebrates enjoying your own company, independence, and personal growth. But together they remind us that Samhain and autumn time is both to reflect and to honor our own space and resources. Many times we see the Nine of Coins as a figure on their own. There's no other human with them. And so I think that lends itself to solitude, independence, personal growth. We take it as a card of hard work and independence sometimes, but I do feel like, me personally, I do forget that although it is an abundant card, there is a solitary figure in it. So let's read in the guidebook about these two cards. And we'll see if they further support my claims here. The Four of Treasures, or Four of Pentacles, upright. Frugality, scarcity, self-control, saving money, security. Reversed is greediness, overindulgence. Reversed is greediness, overindulgence, possessiveness, and stinginess. Four shining coins peek out beneath a protective shield of fingers. A sense of secrecy and scarcity envelops each one. The Four of Treasures examines the relationship we have with finances, a dependence unique to the human race. Ooh, that's so true. Do you have a healthy relationship with money? Are you consumed with saving, overindulging, or living in the middle? Respect money and how hard you've worked to earn it, but don't become so obsessed that you lose sight of what truly matters. Family, friends, and enriching experiences. Ooh, I love that so much. Again, bringing forward that reflective piece and asking ourselves these questions. Also, sometimes when you're in a scarcity, and that might be the reality of the situation, money can be scarce at times, and living in survival mode is really hard. And when we are able to come out of that, I don't know, it's very tough. So on the flip side of the coin, I guess, thinking about it from a scarcity mindset, maybe we're scared to spend in ways that are indulgent, or maybe we just go crazy because we've been in a moment of scarcity for so long, and then we put ourselves in jeopardy of being in a scarcity situation again. So just interesting to think about. And then moving on to the Nine. Upright, we have luxury, fruits of labor, financial independence, abundance. Reversed, we have overindulgence, overspending, hustle, and financial recklessness. Abundance and prosperity shine throughout the Nine of Treasures. The coins gather, surrounded by bones and beautiful greenery, a representation of luxury and abundance. A pure white daisy lays peacefully to the side, symbolizing luxury and contentment. The Nine of Treasures celebrates independence and discipline, encouraging indulgence and celebrating achievements. You are beginning to see your work blossom, creating financial security and comfort by yourself and for yourself. Indulge in a moment of splendor, enjoying the fruits of your labor, and acknowledge your achievements up to this point. Full completion and celebration of your projects will be reorganized and re-energized for the final step. Ooh, very nice. I think that ties in beautifully with my point. So, which side of this pair feels most like you right now? Are you holding on or leaning into solitude and reflection? What do you think? So that's really it for today's little video here for our Samhain chat featuring the Beauty of Bones tarot. I'd love to hear which card or set of cards spoke to you the most and what Samhain energy you're noticing in your own life this season. Your comments and likes and interactions really help create this space here and support this channel, and it's such a gift to share these reflections together. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. We explore tarot, journals, seasonal reflections, and your presence really shapes and adds to our gatherer community here. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful Samhain season, and until next time, see you around.